Hi everyone, it's Kerry back with you today. A couple of months ago I was really inspired by a picture I had seen. I can't remember if it was Pinterest or Instagram, and it was these tiny little vintage like fabric swatches that were on a decorative background, and then they just had some small pieces of fabric attached, and sometimes there was a little label that gave a bit more information about the fabric, etc. Anyway, I really liked the look of them, so I wanted to see if I could have a go at creating some myself. So I worded up head office to make me a digital, and this is what she's created for me, and I absolutely love them. So today I'll show you how to make them with the digital, but then I'm also going to show you how you create something very similar, things that you might have around your craft room, so scrapbook paper and a tag. So first of all, I'll give you a look at the digital that she's created. We'll have a quick look at the kit. There are 10 pages in total. The first page has 4 of the smaller fabric swatch covers and a few little embellishments, and then you also get 4 pages that have the larger fabric swatch panels as well, and there's some additional embellishments there. There's also some that have a tag included as an embellishment, because if you're making the larger one, you could have a little pocket on the side, so you might want to pop a tag in there or some other little hidden bits and pieces to play with. So that one and the green one here, and then you get the same 5 sheets just in black ink for those of you that want to print on tea-dyed paper or your own coloured paper. So there we go. But as I said, you do not need to have a kit to make this project, and I'll show you how to do both ways. So what I have here in front of me is a piece that I have cut from the kit. I've also got just a regular shipping tag. This is a pre-made tag. And then I've got a piece of scrapbook paper that I've just eyeballed and cut to the size that I wanted. I think this was about 7.5 by 15, but you can it will work with any size. So to prepare your piece of scrapbook paper, you just need to cut little tag tops on the corners. To do that, I just eyeball them and hold these 2 corners together. I'm not actually creasing the paper, and then I've just snipped off the edge like that, and that gives me an even angle on both sides. And then you would just fold down your top part to whatever size you wanted, and that gives you the same shape for the base of the tags or base of the fabric swatches like this. So if you were going to use a pre-made tag like this one, you basically just need to decide how far down you want to fold it and pop a crease in the top there. I'm going to work on these 2 to show you how to do it with the kit and just with a tag. I've got here in front of me some little elements that I've already cut from the kit, but you could use something like on this one, which is a pre-made one made with a pre-made tag. I've just used a little bit of brown paper and put a scribble on there so it looks a bit like a signature, so you can always make your own embellishments as well. Alright, now I've used just a stapler to staple most of my embellishments, but you can use a sewing machine if you prefer. I wanted my staples to look a little bit vintage. I didn't want that nice bright shiny silver, so I've just taken a row of staples and then coloured them with some alcohol inks just to give them that sort of grungy look and get rid of that shiny metal look. So there was one left. Get rid of that. Pop that in there. So I've cut out my piece from the kit and I've just folded it in half. This is the back, and then folded the top flap down to give me this front sort of little pockety look. And then I've just picked some scraps of fabric and lace from my scrap box. So this is just a little piece of tea-dyed cotton that I had. And the method for decorating these for me is the same, but you can use anything. You can use paper, you can use fabric, going to use this little piece of green lace, and I'm just making sure that my lace, I've got like a little an edge of the border of the tag, but I've also got it tucked up underneath here far enough so that when I attach the staples or if I stitched it, it would catch my lace. And then I think I'll use a little piece of this white lace over here. Then I've got another piece of the same lace for this one. And then a little green flower. So I just layer them up how I like them. That's going to fit alright. That one fits alright. So then I'll take my stapler with my grungy staples and I just staple that down. Now I'd like to add a little bit of interest to the top here of this do-it-yourself one. So I'm going to use some stamps for that. And I'll need some ink. And then I'm just going to add a bit of ink around the edge. Now I probably should have inked around the edge before because now I'm going to have trouble inking along here. But if you forget to ink it beforehand, I'll show you a little way that you can still ink without getting the ink on your fabric. So I'm just taking a piece of scrap. This is just a piece of scrap chipboard, but you could use a piece of off-cut paper or book page or whatever. So I can still get some ink along there, but my fabric remains clean. And then you could add some stamping on the back or a piece of book page or something if you wanted to give it a bit more interest on the back. So that's that one. And then the same on this one. If you wanted to ink around the edge, it's best to do that beforehand, but I won't bore you by doing that on this one. So now I just want to add a few little finishing touches. So you might want to add a pin with a charm. On this one I've added a couple of extra little scraps of fabric and a little piece of brown paper with some scribble on it. And then from the kit, on this one over here, I might add, pulled out this piece earlier, so I thought that might look nice there. Again, I want another little piece of something to put behind it. So I've just got some, it's like a netting. I'll just pop that there. Then I've got it's not the Tim Holtz tiny attacher, but it's a similar thing. It's just got very small staples. Just use that to attach that. And if you wanted to, you could add a little bit of glue underneath if it was poking up too much, but that's sitting there all right. And then I might attach another little number down here as well, I think. There we go. So once you pop this into your journal, it gives you a little hidden writing place underneath here, and then if you utilise the pocket on the side, then you've got a secret, pocket that you could have in there as well. So that's that one. So then you could just add a little charm or stitch a button or something on there as an additional embellishment. So then for this one, I've just torn a little piece of book page with the book page number still on here. I'm just going to tear that down a bit smaller. And then just attach that with my little stapler as well. So that just gives a little bit more interest there. And then you can just continue to embellish it as much or as little as you like. So you could add, some additional charms. On some of them I've punched through a little eyelet and then hung a little charm with an eyelet. So the possibilities are endless, and you just keep going until you're happy with it. And here's one that I made with the scrapbook paper. So the other thing that I've been making with these little fabric swatches is like a little seed packet with vintage buttons in. So instead of gluing this flap or stapling this flap down, I'm using that as the opening to my little packet, and then inside I've just popped some vintage buttons. You can use different closures. I've just used a rusty bulldog clip because these buttons were quite chunky. So I'll show you how to turn it into a little pocket. So you still cut it out and then fold it in the same manner. And then I've taken a circle punch and I've just cut out a little divot so that once I fold down the top, I can still easily get into the pocket if I want to. Now, before you stitch it down or glue it down, use this time to ink the inside. So that once you've closed up your packet there, it's not that bright stark white. And then all I did was take it to my sewing machine and I've just stitched along these three sides, and then that's given me my little packet that I can use to pop in my buttons or whatever I'd like. So I really had fun making these little fabric swatches. It's one of those projects that's great for using up loads of scraps, and I found it really addictive. You could just sit there and make heaps of them, and they don't take too long to make. I'll leave links in the description box below to the digitals, but as I mentioned before, you don't need a digital to be able to create these. Just use what you have. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye!